What's up, everyone? Hope everybody is doing well. Hope your week is off to a good start, especially with the powerful energy from the moon, the full moon. I hope that you all set your intentions and um, pretty much meditated on the things that you would like to release and improve in your life. I decided to come on real quick to talk to you guys about balance. And I'm not talking about the New Balance shoes. I'm talking about balance in your life, in your attitude, and everything. And this is something new to me that I really didn't pay attention to, but now I'm really seeing it. Like I said, when you become spiritual, you see things, you take off the rose-colored glasses and you see things from a whole different level. And you will always hear me say something about duality and polarity. And that is just, the opposites attract, pretty much. So we know that our earth would not do what it needs to do or operate the way it needs to operate in the normal, correct way if there's not balance, meaning that we have to have the sun come out at a certain time and then the moon. And it's so cool because it's like the sun knows how to scale back when it needs to, and the moon knows how to, stay out the way and let the sun do his thing. But they all know how to, both objects know how to work in, what word am I looking for? It's like I lost my train of thought, but I just know both objects know how to maneuver at the right time in the right way, right? So it'll benefit us. When we have the seasons, it alternates and it does what it needs to do. Now, I don't know what's been going on with Florida, but lately I've been wondering, okay, one winter we got snow, and I know it never snows in Florida, and now it's scorching hot. So it's a hit and miss with Florida. But with the seasons, some years back when I was younger, I remember Florida was summer almost year round. So I this is all new to me. But the point I'm trying to make is, when you know that you're connected to the earth, because our meat suit, I call this our meat suit, the vessel that was, created from the Most High source and received the, oh my gosh, maybe because I need to take a nap. It's been a long day, especially on auntie duties. But it's like when source gave us the organs, the things that our body need to survive in this earth atmosphere, it knew how to create a balance. And I'm not going to say that everybody was, born with the right type of things they need. I'm not saying that, but majority of everybody was born with the balance of, okay, we know what comes first. We know the heart. We know then what comes next. It's like everything flows at a certain pace in the right way. So with that being said, we know that, the flowers bloom certain times a year, and then we know they dry out when wintertime come out. We know that when there's rain, a bad storm, eventually we know that the sun is going to come out, or maybe the rainbow. It's like the thing that we're not really seeing, we are not operating in a balanced way. And so, like I had mentioned in my other video, everything that is connected to our body is pretty much connected to our planet. Like I said, when you inhale, exhale, that is an example of the wind that's blowing in our atmosphere. When we're looking at the water, the oceans, the lakes, the rivers, then we're looking at the same flow of liquid within the human body. With the blood flowing through our body, we have liquids, we have acid, we have urine, sometimes bodily fluid, semen, and ejaculation. All of that is a type of fluid that's found in the body that's also connected to the ocean and the water and the planet. Then we have our earthly body, where we are basically grounding ourselves. That's why I keep telling people that you're supposed to go outside every once in a while barefooted and stand in the grass and just relax and just make sure you don't stand in the ant pile or dog poop. But yeah, so we have that. Then we have the electricity, and then we know that our whole planet is based on negative and positive charges. We have the core of the earth that creates the gravity. We have, atoms, and I don't really want to sound like a chemist or, a science teacher, but I just want y'all to understand how we were created for this planet, right? We were created to complete a certain goal. So when you feel like you don't have purpose, you're wrong, because the source went through a whole lot to try to get you to pass through the portal in your mother's body to get you here to fulfill a purpose or goal. Now, with that being said, a lot of the chaos, a lot of the drama, a lot of the trauma take place because a lot of us are walking around imbalanced. And I'm not talking about just because you have just depression and your dopamine and serotonin is off balance. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just the way we see things. See, we can't just live life closed off in a box and just only taking one little piece of information and just only living based on that information. Because what the source will do is put you in an uncomfortable situation to get you out of that box. So it's just important that we create balance. Whether we're eating certain foods, we have to balance that out. We can't really eat too much of chemically processed food. We can't eat too much of sugary foods. That's when we have all these health issues. That's when we have mucus build up in our bodies, and our bodies is not even alkaline, and we're having all these fibroids and tumors and cancerous cells and clogged arteries and things like that, because we're not balancing it out. We have to have fats, but it's got to be healthy fats. And I know it's hard to break habits, especially when you're limited with resources, but there's some type of way you got to figure out how to create that balance within your body. When you are staying inside more often than going outside, your skin needs vitamin D. And you got to go outside. You have to get that sunlight. And I know it's hot and it ain't comfortable, but you got to pick a good time or hour in the day to go outside so you can get the vitamins that can really do what it needs to do to penetrate your skin. Other than that, you can't walk around here complaining about bad acne. You can't walk around here complaining about looking pale or your skin is not evenly toned. You can't complain about that because you're not doing things to keep it healthy. Okay? There's a balance with your hair. Yes, you can't overly process your hair with all these chemicals, because then after a while your hair gets weak and becomes brittle. That's why a lot of people might be walking around with alopecia. Some people get braids too tight because there's no balance. You got to let your hair breathe. There's a balance with the way you spend your money. You can't go around splurging, gambling, being wasteful, and then complain about being broke, because that is the consequence of being irresponsible with your money. You cannot complain about being unhappy in your marriage if you and your spouse are not working hand in hand as a team to keep the marriage healthy. Like I said, everything requires a balance. If your man is busy working really hard and that's all he focuses on is work, and you're just home, most likely it's going to create an imbalance. And 9 out of 10, the woman might find something else to do to entertain herself, and it may not be something that the husband might like, so that's is important. If you're also pulling skin for the men, if you overdo it with that, then that's when you come up with other issues and your body becomes just desensitized to being with a woman. Just like a woman, if a woman overly use all these different toys, you got the 12-inch hand and all that kind of stuff, then your body is going to get, it's going to become adapted to that. And it's going to create an imbalance when you're trying to be intimate with your partner. What else that I've been noticing? An imbalance of just being on a certain vibration. If you spend most of your time being bitchy, you're not going to keep a job. You're definitely not going to keep healthy relationships. You're definitely not going to really get your blessings, because now is an imbalance. You got to know when it's time to be humble and when it's time to raise hell. Because see, some people will take advantage of you if you're imbalanced. Because if you're so nice and so giving and a people pleaser, like I was once upon a time, then that's creating an imbalance. And then that's when people come in and they drain your ass and leave you hanging like, you're worthless. So it's just, my spirit guide, they start talking to me. And when I say spirit guides, that is pretty much equivalent to saying the Holy Ghost. Except, like I said, I don't go through all of that stuff that the Europeans put together. I go through back towards the African conscience way of connecting with the spirits and my ancestors. Just making sure I'm covering everything else about being balanced. So guys, just keep that in mind when you are doing what you need to do to be successful, whether it's financially, whether you want to be wealthy or whether you want to be healthy, you have to keep a balance. Everything requires a balance. If you're doing too much of some low vibrational bullshit, clubbing so much, getting high so much, it's going to affect not only your body, it's going to affect your money, it's going to affect the people that love you and is tied to you. That's creating an imbalance in the family. Nobody ain't going to want to be around you when you stand drunk and bitchy and grumpy all the time because you need to get your fix. Nobody don't want to deal with no alcoholic person all the time because 9 out of 10, you start thieving and stealing and now people can't trust you. These are all the things that people are really focusing on that's creating an imbalance in the world. You can't go over there being greedy, and that goes for Trump. You can't go over there trying to snatch everybody's land when you already got your own land because now you're creating war. That's creating an imbalance, you know? Even with your sexuality and your interaction with other people, if you're always sleeping around, holding around, you're creating an imbalance, and then that's when we have a lot of illnesses going on within because 9 out of 10, you're bound to either get somebody pregnant or you're bound to catch something. So when you have a high body count, that's an imbalance. When and your body go through changes too. When you decide to become abstinence, yes, there's going to be some changes within your body because your body is designed to procreate. It's designed to have sexual intercourse. So it's going to go through changes. I'm not saying they're going to be terrible changes, but I just know that horny feeling going to kick in 100% full throttle. So the thing is, we just got to know how to be mindful of the decisions we make each day. We have to know how to be mindful with how we take care of our bodies. As you can see in the picture, I was trying to do a little bit of yoga. I wanted to test my body out to see if I'm flexible. And I need some more practice because I don't stretch every day. I mean, I do mini stretches, but I don't really just, hone in on really diving into stretching my body, unless I'm doing, some other type of activity. But I digress. The thing is, we just got to keep a balance with how we use our vehicles, how we take care of our home. I think I covered everything. Oh, religious ideas. Yes, you got to keep a balance with that. Because I'm going to tell you, you come to me witnessing and trying to force me to go back to church and trying to, condemn me and judge me. Oh, believe me and you're going to have to hear my words too. You're going to have to hear my spirit team speak through me to get the message across to you too. So because there's a few people I ran into. And one lady I told you, she followed me through the store. She followed me through the store just to flag me down and say, hey, Jesus laid on my heart to invite you out to my church. And I'm like, well, first off, she was a different nationality from me. And then on top of that, she didn't speak good English. I think she was either German or Hispanic or something. And then I was like, well, thank you for the invitation. I'll keep it in mind. Then she wanted to start preaching to me. I'm like, this lady don't even know me from Adam. And she's trying to force the religious and the idea. She's trying to say things to make me feel convicted so I would want to go. And that's the same thing I know my ancestors went through back in the 1600s. And I ain't even on that. I ain't on that. Don't. So yes, you got to keep a balance. If you want to go that route, respect the people that do not want to go that route. That's just all it is to it. It's all about teamwork. We have to just know how to alternate the responsibilities so everything can flow well. And that's, I think, the word I was looking for, with the moon and the sun alternating the energies that's emitted onto the earth so things can grow and flow well. Because if it's too much sunlight, then we'll go through a drought. If it's too much rain, then we'll have a lot of floods. So everything got to be a balance. And I'm going to stop it here. And until next time, my loves, take care. Peace out.